All right, we're live on Facebook. Good morning, everyone. So we will have our MLAC conversation today. Hope you're having a good start to your week. But before we start, we just want to promote our upcoming event, Parenting Academy. It's our 10th year, so we do this every year, and this is our 10th year. The topic for this year is parenting is nation building best Filipino parenting practices across generations. So I hope you can join us. We will just post this e-poster in our FB page so you can take a look at the details. So thank you again. All right. So very exciting today because we have not only is our topic interesting, but we have not just one, but two guests today. So syempre, our regular special guest, I will introduce first bago yung yung bago nating guest, new guest natin. No? So we have Dr. Honey Karandang. Of course, you know her. There wouldn't be an MLAC without her. MLAC stands for her initials, Maria Lourdes Arellano Karandang, or Mindfulness, Love, and Compassion. And she is a national social scientist and renowned clinical psychologist. And actually, I will probably have no time to read all through all her achievements, but I will highlight na lang since it's related to our topic that she is the pioneer in play therapy here in the Philippines. She has also written a lot of books on Philippine psychology. So, and of course, she is mom to me and my two brothers, Ricky and Rafa, and wife to my dad, Dr. Brigido Carandang, and of course, Lola to my daughter, 8-year-old daughter, Harana. So welcome, Mom.
Thank you.
Okay, now on to our special guest. Thank you for taking the time to be here, Teacher Tanya Velasco. So I wanna read her profile so I don't miss anything. Teacher Tanya is a family life and child development specialist. She graduated with a degree in family life and child development from UP Diliman and received her MA in leadership in education from Pacific Oaks College in Pasadena, California. Teacher Tanya has worked in the preschool both here and abroad. She also taught college students and was a consultant for early childhood research projects and for organizations. She once managed a parent infant toddler center in her own backyard. Wow, interesting. She still dreams to be able to put up her own center in the future, near future. Teacher Tanya is passionate about respectful parenting. She is currently working on her certification in becoming an infant and toddler specialist. When she's not in the classroom, Teacher Tanya enjoys her primary role as a wife to her husband Mike and as a mom to her daughters Ellie and Julia and son Nathan. So again, thank you so much, Teacher Tanya, for being here.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Dr. Hunt.
Morning. Morning,
Good morning.
Tanya.
Good morning to all our parents who probably just got back from bringing their kids to school or siguro
On the
nagluluto,
way.
Oo nga, eh.
nagwawalis, lalabas. So, good morning.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in
Mhm.
while maybe doing some chores or whatever you're doing right now, enjoying your coffee. Okay, so let's start. So our topic for today is parenting and play. And I'll go straight to the first question, perhaps the main question, and why we chose this topic. What is so important about play? Maybe I can ask you first, Mom, and then Teacher Tanya.
Yeah. Well, I would like to say that play is not just important for children and even adults, especially for children. It is essential. I think if children cannot play, they're being deprived of their right and they're being deprived of an optimum development of their total personality, total person. No? Play is not just laro. Play involves the whole child, intellectual, social, physical, moral, and emotional. So it's a total, well-rounded development. One activity, play, already involves the total child, all the aspects. So I think it's essential, not just important.
Thank you very much. So it involves all aspects of the child. No? So it is essential. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Teacher Tanya, you want to add something to that?
I think that's about how Dr. Honey explains it so well. But in my field of early childhood, when
Mm-mm.
you talk about play, play is in the purest form, is really play, meaning wala tayong agenda.
Mm-mm.
As parents, we don't teach our child to do this and that. That's not playing at all. Now, for children, when they're not sleeping, when they're not eating or doing their caregiving routines, taking a bath, other things, I think what they should be doing is actually playing. So that's my take on that.
So thank you for sharing that, Teacher Tanya. No? That's a very interesting distinction to make. No? That
Mm-mm.
about play, it's not teaching. There's a difference between teaching and play. Okay, so maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'd
You want
like
to
to
add
add,
something, ma'am?
Chris, because it's so important what Tanya said, that when we are with our children, we think that we should always teach them something. I think that's very common among us parents, because if we're not teaching them anything when we're with them, we're not doing our job. But I think there are times when we should not be teaching them anything, but just being with them, enjoying them, and listening to them, and allowing them to be. Because for me, play is the safe space to be who they are. Because, well, I think maybe I'll add it again. I'll add it here. It's in my mind. It keeps flowing. Because if you think about it, and Teacher Tanya will elaborate on this very well, uh, children need to learn how to walk, how to talk, how to do anything, but children do not need to learn how to play. Can you imagine how natural that is? They are born with the ability to play. So I think we should value that and not lose it when they grow up, no? As parents.
Yeah. So it's so natural for them to play, no? Bakit nga kaya may ganong urge for parents to like insert some teaching while a child is playing? Any insights on that?
Yeah.
Why do we feel
Tanya,
na
remember?
kulang kung wala tayong
Oh,
ituro
kulang
na?
pa. Tanya, I think I heard you talking about how parents find it hard to just be there.
Yes, that's right,
Yeah.
Dr. Han. In my experience of working with parents here for the past 10 years, and a part of that in my program is which I learned from my practice of RIE, which is respectful parenting. We allow the parents to do quiet observation. They will just sit down and just really observe and watch and enjoy their child. I learned from you, Dr. Honey, that we live in a very distracted world. That is so true. So when I ask the parents, can you please turn off your cell phone or deposit your cell phone in my box? It is so hard for them to let go because, teach, gusto ko sana picturean. Okay, I want sure send ko, post ko. There's always this tendency na I want to post, I want to show, I want,
Yeah.
but for them to slow down and just be there, it is so hard. So that's my experience. So maybe you could say why. Bakit ba? Bakit tayo aligaga?
It is so hard. I think we are deeply indoctrinated in our society, in our culture, to do something, to be useful, to have results, to be able to. If you're just sitting there and watching your child, you are wasting time because you're not useful. That being useful means you teach, you whatever, you give food, whatever it is, you do something. You cannot just be totally present and observe. I think I like your word observe, because when you observe, you are not participating necessarily. No, you're just watching, enjoying what the child is doing, and another word I like to put there is allowing. You're observing and allowing the child to do whatever he or she wants to do. And that is not easy for most parents. Just let go of your desire and need to be useful at that moment. At that moment, being useful is just being there, totally present, enjoying your child. That's being useful in that moment. I'd like to reframe it so that you are being useful by being there, totally present to your child. The child feels you, your presence. When you are totally present and not distracted, and you are really looking, absorbing, enjoying, then you are really there for the child. That's the most important thing, to be present totally for the child. I think we have to emphasize that.
It's such a counterculture thing to do, no? To not
Yes,
be quote unquote productive, no?
productive.
Yeah. But you're highlighting how it's so much more important to just give your whole presence. Maybe it'll help the parents to understand na ano ba yung benefit nun if you're like totally present to the child compared to like if you're teaching a child. Kasi 'di ba pag teaching makita nila agad ay natutunan niya yung difference from color red to color blue. Pero ano yung bakit hindi siya laro lang kapag when you're just allowing the child to be and you're just present there, observing?
I think the most important thing that's happening there is, one, when you let the child be and not direct the child, you're allowing the child, appreciating, you give the child a sense of worth. No, you give the child a sense of you are okay. You are okay. I don't have to teach you anything. You are okay as you are playing. And it's kind of unconditional in a way. You don't try to make the child go left, right, do this, do that. So we all need that. For me, unconditional acceptance is a basic psychological need of every human being. But we start with unconditional acceptance from infancy. No? As an infant, we don't need the child when the child, we give everything we need to give. We're there for the child. No expectations yet. But as we get older, the human being expects the child to be able to sit down quietly, be able to do this, to be able to write, so many expectations after infancy. So let the child be and not expect anything during that particular time, and therefore you can give the child unconditional acceptance. And you think the child does not feel it? Studies show that the child who is unconditionally accepted, the mother or the father figure, whoever is the parent figure, being totally there, looking at the child, being present, the vibe being accepting and appreciating, it's a very, very big thing even as the child gets older. That experience must not be missed, because that is essential for the worth of the child, for the child's knowing that he is important, he matters. It's another basic psychological need of all of us.
Being able to show the child that he or she matters and unconditional acceptance. Much more important if you weigh it like between learning ABCs and I mean there was of course there is a time for that and there's school for that as well. Pero yung parang kulang, or do you feel like nowadays play is neglected? It's not given as much importance?
Yeah,
I think so. I think so. Dr. Kish and Tita Honey. I remember, this is just a story. I remember when I was teaching in the preschool, I had a parent and sabi niya, teach, kailangan pag 2 years, kasi the child started ng 1-year-old. Teach, kailangan pag next year, pag tapos na yung class natin, nakakabasa na yung toddler ko.
Wow.
So, I told the parent, I think you are in the wrong program. Baka po better you just not start the school year, because I cannot promise you that. I cannot promise that your toddler will read, but I can promise that your toddler will be a happy child. Your toddler will learn how to play with other kids, which are very important skills in order for him to read later on.
Yes.
So the parent said, sige, I'll give it a try. And then he never left the preschool anymore because he was
Oh,
convinced.
wow.
He was so convinced that his child is learning through play.
True
So
play.
through
Yes.
play. So I think no play is the best preparation for academics. That's my take on
Mm.
that. Because when kids are given the time to play, they're able. I think this is one of the things I noticed with my toddlers. They're able to tolerate their mistakes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
most often than not, 'di ba, they always give up right away. 'Di ba?
Mm-mm.
Mabilis ma-frustrate, mabilis mag-tantrum, but when they're given that space to really play with
Mm-mm.
blocks, play with sand, play with water, you would see that their tolerance for frustration, humahaba siya. Yung patience sila nagiging
Mm-mm.
pahaba ng pahaba every day. And that's what the parent sees. And they get convinced, oo nga, teach, no? Palaruin ko lang pala sa blocks or tubig or sand. Hindi kailangan bumili ng gadgets. Okay na pala
Mm-mm.
yung anak ko. So I think that's one thing I learned from experience and something na hindi ka kailangan gumastos para matuto yung anak mo talaga. Di ba?
Pabayaan mo siya
Oo.
maglaro.
Maglaro.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And yeah, I'd like to add to that, no? Kasi um parang when they play, when they are not even as a, from well, first is developmental, no? We can look at the developmental framework, infancy, toddler, young child, adolescent, young adult, old, old, old. As old as 80 I am, I need to play. Because if you want to put a very, very succinct, most simple maybe definition of play, I'd say it is play is a any self-directed activity wherein we derive pleasure from the process and not the outcome.
Mm.
So it develops, the keywords are self-directed. So the child leads, not the parent. No, the child leads, not the therapist. And then it's also pleasure and joyful. We find joyful and pleasure in the process. We don't have to have a goal and the pleasure is reaching the goal. There's no goal. The goal is not that important. What is important is to find joy and pleasure in the process while doing it, enjoying it, versus the outcome. I'd like to, say that very simple definition.
Yeah, it's a great definition to think about, no? And to think about how at every stage, how can we have something like that, no? Not just
Mm.
our kids, but even ourselves, no? As
Yes.
parents, as we get older, no? And of course, the changes also from infants to children to teens, no?
Mm. All stages, in all stages of development, play is essential. I dare say this at 80. I'm 80 years old, and if I cannot play during the day, play meaning self-directed, maybe I just want to walk and not think of anything, look at the leaves, that's play already, no? Or just want to lie down and imagine certain things, that's play for adults. So it's really a time to just allow yourselves to do what your inside wants to do and bring it in the outside. I'd like also to emphasize that one of the most important things about play is that it is empowering in the real sense. Because when you play, when a child or adult plays, it comes from inside you and you impose your reality on the environment. So I always say that play is an antidepressant. Why? Because when you are depressed, you're overwhelmed by external events impinging on you, overwhelming you. When you play, it's the opposite. Play and the arts also play, music, dance, play. You look inside you, and what's inside you, you give it form, or you hold it and own it, and then impose it on the outside world. You are reversing the process of depression. So play is essential in that way. We don't have to be depressed. If we know the value of play, then we know that we need to impose our reality, especially children. They don't have the decision making where to go to school, where to live, but they have the power to make this thing a bus, or to imagine that this thing is a playground, or this thing is a train. That freedom to come from inside you and impose it on the outside world is the most powerful dynamic that play gives us. I'd like to emphasize that. So important.
Thank you so much for that. So, while you were sharing that, I was thinking about a question that's usually asked during parenting workshops. No? And this is something that's very relevant nowadays in the age of distraction and the technology that we have now. Ano yung masasabi niyo about like if someone asks, is playing video games play, is watching Netflix play? Pwede bang play yun? Kasi madalas ko marinig sa parents yun na it's their way to distress after a long day. What can you both say about that?
I think
Tanya?
I'll speak for younger children kasi
Yes, please.
that's my experience. Well, based on American Academy of Pediatrics, diba, they say that the use of gadgets is not recommended yet for younger children. If we can delay it, let's delay it. But for 18 months and above, okay lang yung live video call or a video of themselves, slow moving video of something that is meaningful to the child. What we always miss out is we look at the short term lang, meaning sige, busy ako, papalaruin ko muna siya, but you know the effects of these gadgets. It's not that we galit tayo sa gadgets. Hindi, they are also very helpful in terms of learning. But as imagine a toddler, no, imagine the toddler. The hands should be used for open-ended activities, pwedeng sand, figuring out how to tie his shoelace. These are all skills that they are missing out. And in my experience in the classroom, I think kulang na lang magtumbling ako in order to entertain my students. It's because they don't have that focus and the ability to listen, which I really, really miss. If I compare my students 20 years ago, I'm
Wow.
going to read a book from memory. They're all listening. But now, do I need to come up with a video? Do I need to come up with a song? I don't know what kind of song. Kailangan ba maging bleepy ako para ma-entertain ko sila? So I see the change. And that's why I recommend the parents, if you can delay it, please delay it. Because alam niyo, mapapagastos lang kayo kung hindi masatisfy sa iPad, ano sunod? Video games, PS, Switch, diba? So that's just my experience. And you can do it. Don't say you cannot do it. You can do it. If you think about the long-term benefits. So that's my take for younger children. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, maybe I'll follow that. Follow up. Yeah. One of the things that's related to that is discipline, no? I mean, because as parents, yeah, especially older na, even younger, all children, no? How do we stop them, or how do we lessen, or how do we time it, as their question, diba? How do we not allow them to keep playing when they want to play the gadget? Do we confiscate it? What do we do? No? So it's a big question, and maybe there are many little answers, and maybe there's not one big answer, because you don't just confiscate. But I think setting limits, I think, starts from not just the gadget yet. Setting limits is, again, in my book, 7 Psychological Needs, one of the basic psychological needs of every human being from childhood to old age, is to be able to set clear and consistent limits for others and for yourself. So in mindfulness practice for younger children, not as young, but maybe older, maybe grade school, Tanya?
Yes.
Right, okay. I think we need to practice first how they can set limits for themselves. But when we do that, we first have to know how to set limits for them. And the limits must be clear and consistent. Because if we are setting limits inconsistently, it doesn't work. And if we don't know how to set limits for our children, that's going to be very, very, very difficult when they get older, or even now. No? So I think, how do we instill self-regulation? Through discipline. First is little things, not just the gadget muna, little things. Okay, you can today you can go out for 30 minutes, or after at this time you'll sleep. Really setting clear and reliable and doable limits is essential from toddlerhood. So if we are able to set limits, it's easier for them to set limits and be self-directed in their discipline. They have self-discipline. And I think that would be probably the best, although it's not easy for us to say, okay, for this show, you can have this time for the gadget, and you write the time on your wall and on your paper, and see whether you can do it. I mean, I'm just saying that it's so hard to just tell them, because many parents tell me, yeah, they're not supposed to have they are supposed to sleep around 10, but 2 a.m. I can see the light and I can hear that they are playing games or they're using their gadget. So how do you do that? Some parents had the gadget given to them at 10 p.m. There are many different ways, but I think the bottom line is for them to see the value of being able to self-regulate, be able to know that I will set limit, I will stop. If we can do that, it's not just gadget, but their whole lives, they will be able to self-discipline. I think that's one thing we need to talk about, maybe in a whole program of self-discipline.
That sounds like a whole topic. But yeah, it's really very challenging, no? Kasi even setting limits for ourselves is a challenge. I mean, the way that the internet, our phones are made, it's really meant to suck us in. Social media,
Yes.
diba? So talagang being conscious, mindful about how we spend our time is really crucial, no?
Yes, and modeling.
And if our kids see us on the gadgets, they'll think, but ako rin, diba? Why not me too, diba? Yeah.
Right.
That's a challenge for everyone.
Yeah, challenge talaga. And maybe modeling is also very important. It's one of the best ways that we teach our children anything. We do it and they see us do it. They absorb how we do it. Maybe you can say, okay, I'm gonna do this, talk to my friend, whatever it is, or up to this time. And then you demonstrate that you stop at a certain time. We have not been able to capitalize on modeling as a way that children learn, I think. Because children do not just learn from their parents through the words, but not just the action, not just your words and your action, but your tone of voice, the look in your eyes, the posture, the way your eyes, your lips move. You know that children observe all the totality of you, and they absorb it. So as I always say, children learn their values from parents, not just through their action, not through their words, but also not through just their action, but who they are. Yung pagkatao ng parent. I cannot overemphasize this, because if you look at, this is going too far, no? If you look at because this is maybe plugging our
Parenting Academy event. Go ahead.
Nation building, sorry. Parenting Academy in our Parenting Academy, parenting is nation building. So if you look at why are our leaders like that, bakit siya ganito, ganun siya pinalaki. Bakit siya magkaganon, ganun siya pinalaki. It's a very powerful, true statement. Ganun siya pinalaki, kaya siya ganon. So you even no matter how much distraction there is in society, how much chaos and turbulence, still, the power of the parent must not be lessened. We must claim our power because it is a given. The children only don't obey us if we don't do our parenting well, or if we are antagonizing them. But the given is that they look to their parents as the first role models, as the first people they learn from. They learn from school, they can unlearn, but the learning I found in my 80, as I turned 70, 80, I found out that people I counsel who are 75, 80, 60, there's always a part of them that is there because ganun sila pinalaki. It's so astounding how that power is, no matter how much therapy you do, which you do a lot, and you do a lot of therapy and you change so much behavior, but there's always something left there that have absorbed in childhood, in early childhood. And I cannot overemphasize that in my old age, because I used to debunk all that the past is not important. But if really observe after 50 years of practice, it has an impact. Parenting.
It's good for us to, I like what you said, claim our power, acknowledge that we have such a big influence on our kids, and maybe hopefully that will motivate us to become better people. Yung sabi mo, sa pagkatao talaga eh. Oo, yung modeling. Ultimately, parang it falls to that, no?
Yeah.
And that's what the kids will absorb.
Can I add? That's
Yes.
why our role is very important earlier. I mean, we invest earlier on. Bata pa lang, we don't say, ay, lalaki naman yan, then kakatch ko na lang. But the earlier you start, you're putting or setting up a foundation that will they carry on later on. We always say this word secure base. Parents are our children's secure base. I see this a lot in kids, in toddlers, when they play in my program. Bago sila mag-play, titingin sila, hahanapin nila yung nila. And I love seeing that because I know that this child is finding his security in his parent. And the worst thing I've experienced is, andun si Yaya, andun si Mommy. Hanap niya si Yaya. And I saw the face, the parent cry. Hindi niya pinapakita umiiyak siya, but when I talked to the parent, she said, "Teacher, what am I doing wrong? My child is just 2. How can I change this?" And I told her, she's just 2. There's still a lot of time. So when your child looks for you, some would say, ang clingy naman, ang clingy naman. But, I love that picture that your child looks for you. It's because he finds a security in you. And the more you play with your child, the more you spend time with your child, you become a secure base. Talagang hinahanap ka na niya. And when I see that the toddler grows, hindi ka na niya masyadong hinahanap, di ba? Kasi may security na siya na alam niya, okay, my mom will just be there. So that's really something that really touches my heart every time I see toddlers play and find the secure base in the parent. I know that there's a foundation set already. So that's my experience. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, the attachment, the basic attachment to the parent, I think, is the foundation, as you said, is the foundation. They feel the safety and the acceptance and the bond between the parent. Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Such a big gift that parents can give to their kids to make them feel safe and to have that secure base. And then of course, I assume that that's where also play plays a big role. I think
Yes.
we talked about this before, like how there's a question about how now that I know that play is such an important thing, how do I play with my child? Like how long should I be playing with my child? Maybe from infancy, Teacher Tanya, to like older, ma'am, anong ma-advise niyo dun sa mga ganong tanong? How can I play with my child? How long?
Dr. Honey will talk more about what's practical, but for me, simple, no? If you have an infant, you have a toddler and you're breastfeeding, put away your phone. We always have a tendency, nagbe-breastfeed lang naman ako or binabantayan ko lang naman siya eh. That ping you hear on your phone will set the whole time na wala na yung attention mo. So be present. You can play when you are not feeding, giving a bath. Just be there. Just set up a mat. What I tell the parents, mag-mat lang kayo. Find a small spot in your room. Put out 3 to 4 toys for younger children, and just watch the child. You can play with your child if the child looks for you. Pag hinahanap ka niya, sige, you can play. Pero I would encourage, no, if you can support the child playing alone, kasi that's also a way for his brain to rest. He's very overstimulated already. Your voice, the noise outside. So a balance of playing with your child and just observing him play alone. So how long? As long as you can do it, do it. The earlier you start, it can go as long as I have parents starting 10 minutes teach, ayaw na, papakalong na. Just keep on doing it. Sige, just be with your child, stay with your child. And then teach, wow, 2 hours na kami, nagpi-play together. Before we know it, lunchtime na, di ba? So, you just keep on doing it. And it has so many benefits to you and to your child. So the length of time, wala. Kung anong meron time ka that you can carve within the day, do it. That's my take on that.
Wow, yes, yes.
Thank you.
I agree. For the older children that I've worked with, I tell the parents to carve a time, first of all, that is convenient for them, because if it's not convenient, they may not be able to do it, and that's doable. But there are 2 criteria, I think, for how you play, or what is beneficial when you are with your child. No? Aside from, of course, you're playing with or allowing them to play. The first is your total presence. So no distractions. So that's why you have to carve it, because in our lives, there is no way that we have no distraction. No way. There will be a phone, there will be the maid, whatever. No, there's no way. So if you carve, and I've found it to be so effective, just 30 minutes. In fact, sometimes I start with 15 minutes. No, 30 minutes. What do I do? Okay, first, what's the 30? Which part of the day is the 30-minute carving doable? Doable first. So you will be able to do it, because the two criteria I was saying is, one was, I said, true presence, and the other is regularity and predictability. When the child knows that it's coming, he doesn't have to get your attention any other time, it will come. And the regularity promotes a sense of inner security. So you become more secure inside them. It's very interesting, because your regularity, they can count on it. They know it will come. So at a certain time, if it's 10 to 10:30, they will not ask for it at 9 or whatever. So long as you've done it regularly, the child will feel safe that it's going to be there. And that safety, that predictability, that regularity is so essential to build the child's wholeness, no? Safety, integrity, being whole. So I just tell them, carve out what time. What's the time that's doable? Okay, 7 to 7:30 daw, okay. Or 7 to 8, okay, between 7 and 8, 30 minutes maghanap ka doon. So during those 30, what do I do? Okay, first you tell the child, what has been helpful is that they pick the time, and then there's a beginning and end to it. So there's like a song that the child likes. For example, what's a good song? Tanya would know. Song that the child likes. And then, so short song, no? Do a deer, female deer, and then that's the beginning. And then the end, another song. So there's a kind of a beautiful way of saying it's time. Now you don't have to just be very harsh about it. Then the child learns that it is when you sing the song, and then after you sing the song, it's the end of the time. And you know, when they get that regular time that they know they can count on, they don't try to get your attention every time, because they know they will get it. Plus, it's good for you as a parent, because then you also don't feel guilty that you are not spending time with them. Because you may be a homemaker, you're there, no? But you may not be carving time, so you're always doing cooking and then being with them. But the presence of being with them, as we said earlier, no, just totally there, is different from cooking and talking to them. That's not bad, that's good. But there's something more special and more beneficial to the child when you are totally present. So be totally present and there and look forward to that time. It's your playtime too, and then regular. And the parents, even if sometimes they've children with special needs, find it so beneficial to the child as well as the parent who now doesn't feel like, should I play with my child now? Should I cook? Should I do this? No, this is the time. And then after that, I can do this. Because it has to be doable, practical. It has to be, concretely done. So I find that that's one of the things. As long as it's regular, predictable, and your presence. Yun.
I like how we talked about having a secure base and then how regularity, predictability can even more like make that safe space and bond with your child. No? And you both agree, you both highlight the importance of total presence, no distraction. So it's really the quality of time that we give, no? And I was just thinking about when you were saying, Mom, yung parang I guess ano rin, mahirap rin yung if you're really kasi with parents who are really busy, no? And then they try to insert like time in between. And then if they don't get to do that, nakaka-guilty rin, 'di ba? So I think that's something that a lot of parents deal with as well, no? That how can I do that? I'm so busy and yun. And sometimes they miss or they don't follow through with what they said, 'di ba? So it's
Yeah.
So it's really important that regularity and predictability as well.
Yes, I'd like to say that it's doable. I've been a working parent since 20. Since I graduated from college, I was already working until I got married. I never stopped working up to now. And what's doable is kahit na 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even if you're the busiest person in the whole world, you can carve 10 minutes or 15 minutes and make it sacred. 15 minutes sacred, and it works because the parents said that I spend 10 hours with him every other weekend when I can. When I'm busy, I tell him, let's play. The child doesn't want to play because suddenly he's doing something and it's unpredictable. Let's play because you have time. That because it's convenient for you, you have time. O ayaw makipaglaro. Niyayaya ko. Siyempre, nabibigla. Hindi. I mean, there's no preparation. Suddenly, because of your own time, your own convenience, you tell him to play with you for 5 hours. But when other days when he needs to bond, you don't. So it's not. It's very difficult for the child to appreciate that and to be helped by that. So usually there'll be conflicts. So sabi ko na, nag-reserve ako ng 5 hours ng buong araw, hindi naman siya makikipaglaro. Ngayon, akil ka ba? Bigla na lang. So it's that, no? It's that knowing what the child needs. And that's not taking a toll on a parent. It's also doable, even if we're the busiest people in the world. There can be 15 minutes where you have sacred time for your child. And I found it to be so important and doable. Yun.
I just like to add to that. Lalo na for younger children, pag meron kang sinabi, gawin mo. Kasi they will expect that. And they also know when you're faking it eh. Parang, sige, play tayo, pero yung mind mo parang nakatulala ka or they know it. So, sino lang niloloko mo? Sarili mo, di ba? So, also na, I've come across parents saying, laro na lang kayo with Yaya. Okay na yan. You can never have someone do that for you. It's really just you who can do that. Iba yung laro mo at iba laro niya sa ibang tao. So, 10 minutes is not hard. If you can scroll your social media in 10 minutes and watch Netflix or a K-drama, what is 10 minutes to 15 minutes time with your child? So, in terms of priorities talaga and time management as a parent, we really need to be on top of that, no matter how busy our day can be. So, yun, that's my take on that.
Thank you for sharing that, Teacher Tanya. Just wanted to share also that what my mom said about like even if you're busy, as long as I like that word, carve out the time that's realistic, it really can work. And I personally remember how when I was a kid, my my mom would every Sunday, I don't know kung mga 30 minutes yata yan, ma'am, you just watch me play with my G.I. Joes, make a story, and you wouldn't, once in a while you would ask a question, pero really just listen to it most of the time. So up to now, I go back to that as something significant
Thank you.
that really maybe helped me become a psychologist as well. Perhaps. Yeah.
Thank you. And I'd like to say that it if I was just listening there, it was and looking, it was enjoyable for me. You can enjoy it. It's not something like a task. You're like, wow. Yun yung story niya, that kind of thing. It's so, it can be a joyful thing actually for the parent. I want to stress that kasi when we say gawin mo to, parang it's just a duty. But as Tanya was saying earlier, the parent starts to enjoy it. Once you really give your mindful presence, you will enjoy it. I guarantee you.
A personal experience of mine, when I feel so stressed, I would tell my husband, I'll play with our kids. And then I come out of the room, I feel so good. Kasi when you play and you just enter their world of play, it's amazing. No? It is so therapeutic watching your child play. Kasi it's ang saya. I just come out as a better mom playing with. So that's something that I don't have to spend on spa or salon. I'll just play with my child kasi it is so therapeutic for me.
For the parent, yes.
For the parent, yes.
That's a very important point, I think.
So for the parents listening, to be able to find the joy, in your child's play also, or maybe to let it bring out the playfulness in us as well. That's wonderful. Yeah. We just have time for maybe a few more questions. I wanted to ask I wanted to try, gusto kong baliktarin yung tanong. Is it possible, kasi narinig ko na rin to dati na it was asked during a workshop, like, is there such a thing as too much playing? Is that possible?
One answer first.
No, I think for me, wala. I mean, for an infant and for a toddler, as long as they're playing, I think that's really, really good. It's a preparation for future learning academics. It says a lot because if a child is playing well, I mean, wow, that's really a full development for a human being. So sa akin, okay lang. As long as they're playing appropriately. That's the thing that we need to highlight, appropriately. Baka naman gadgets yun, that's too much. So playing with the appropriate developmental materials, I think that's very good.
Yeah. Well, I think in older kids, there's a time to do tasks and there's a time to play. So maybe playing too much depends on like what is the grade level, what's supposed to, what they already have tasks that they have to do. And I think it's also important that the tasks, first of all, are realistic, not like assignments that are done until 11 p.m., which I hear a lot of, which I think is definitely detrimental to the child, not just intellectually, physically, health-wise. So the child is doing his homework and not stopping, eat, and then do home. 11, hindi pa tapos. I think that's definitely not right. I mean, come on, get mad at me, but I don't think that's right. I think that's wrong. So that's too much. That's too much work and no play. But maybe too much play could also happen because when they have an assignment and they're not doing it, or they have to at home they do some tasks to do and they're not doing it because they're just playing. I think there's got to be limits also, as I said, clear and consistent limits, but they have to be able to play every day. The time reserved depends, I think, on the stage of development, on the grade level, and all those things.
It's a matter of balancing.
Just
Yeah,
want to
Teacher
add for
Tanya. Yeah.
young children, it's very important that we have routines. So tama si Dr. Honey, I like to add to that, setting limits. So for a toddler, for a baby, no problem. You can siya talagang set routine except for feeding or taking a bath. Then all other thing he can play by himself or with an adult. But for a toddler, you should be able to start setting limits in terms of routine. So sa routine, 'di ba, sa bahay, may mga self-care. And then all the other things, he should be playing. I think that's wala naman siyang assignment kasi bata pa siya. So all the other things, once the routine is done, then play should be more siguro divided within the day. And also not just indoor play, also outdoor play is very important
Yes.
for younger children. Talaga important yun that we take them outdoors sa garden, sa park, kung I always tell parents, kung may kapitbahay kayo may garden, maki-garden kayo kasi it is very important. They sleep better, they think better, they play better when they're outdoors. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I'd like to highlight that because it's so important that they are allowed to go outdoors and be with nature. No, I live now in a nature sanctuary. Of course, I'm an old person, but my apo, the daughter of Chris, told me once that, Lola, honey, teach me how to climb a tree, because I told her I used to climb trees and run around and on rooftops and all that, and I think that kind of attitude you have towards it, no, is so they catch it, so they also find the joy in playing and the joy in playing with you, because you find joy in playing with them. So it's that, no, it's nakakatuwa kasi it's mutually joyful and mutually beneficial. I think we have to see it that way, not just we will play because the child needs to play, but enjoy it, play. You know, so when you play you're happy. So learn from your child. If you don't know how to play now, watch your child and you learn from the child how to play. So I think that's key, very key development. I saw. May I share? It was so striking during the play therapy when I was just starting it. I saw two kids, 9 and 7, girl and boy, and usually in the playroom. This is now play therapy now. In the playroom, just to share, in the playroom you have different toys and materials, but what you have is a safe space for them to do whatever they want, play with anything they want. There are only two. If it's a group play, there are only two rules: don't hurt anybody and don't hurt yourself. So, but you can play with anything the way you want to put this up and whatever you want, and then we clean up after. Okay, so these two children, but in all my experiences, in all my life, every time I sit, I go inside the playroom with the child or children and make them know it's a safe space, and that I'm there for them and I'm just being there present to them. They always play. These two children, for the whole play therapy hour, did not play at all. They did not even try to touch a toy. And I said, what's wrong? Did I say anything? And all that. Anyway, to make the long story short, these two children, I didn't know the story yet because this was when I was still in training. So they were traumatized because the father used to hurt the mother physically and shout at her. And then one day, the mother killed the father. Can you imagine the trauma of the two children? So when they could not play, it was a sign for me that they were traumatized. So that was the first day, and then the next week they started to play for a few minutes and so on and so forth until they were playing the whole time, and I knew that they were recovering, healing from the trauma through the play. So it was a very beautiful experience that I could not forget, because it's the first time children who naturally play did not even play for 1 minute or the whole hour. So it's also an indication that there's something wrong.
It's something alarming, no? When they're not able to do that.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm aware that it's already almost 10.
Okay.
But
Oras, ha?
ang bilis ng oras,
Bilis,
feeling
ah.
ko bitin, eh, no?
Playing.
Pwede pang mag-part 2 sana, no? Maybe we'll talk about it. But I did want to ask one last question for both of you, and maybe a little bit more personal, no? Since we've been talking about play, just wanted to ask, uh, so how do you personally play nowadays?
I'll go ahead. I recently
Yes.
discovered that I can still play the ukulele.
Oh.
My kids played piano and voice lesson. So my husband said, Tanya, kaysa naghihintay ka sa music school, mag-aral ka na rin. And so I told my teacher, who was a fresh graduate from College of Music, I said, teacher, kaya ko pa ba? Sabi niya, ay, Mommy Tanya, kayang-kaya mo. Eh, yung mommy ko nga na 60 years old, naturuan ko eh. So this teacher of my hi teacher Marley, she is so prepared with visual aids kasi teach ano ulit note yun nakalimutan ko na. So sabi ko pasensya na ha kasi 40 na ako medyo ano so it's for me it's like a rest for me to be able to take that lesson and be able to see myself kaya ko pa pala and so enjoy it. I really
Empowering.
yeah. So that's one. I discovered that. And I do run marathons with my husband. So that's something that it's
Which,
time for me to for myself just play and be able to see that I can still do many things with my body. So
wow.
so that's how I play.
Yeah. Well, I
Wow.
cannot do so many things with my body now. I used to be a tennis
Oh
player,
wow.
competitive tennis player, which
Wow.
I love. But now I play every day. I go out then and look at what color the leaves are now, and there's a new leaf that's violet right now. Look, I'm looking at it.
Wow.
The mango. It's lavender. And I remember when I was a child, I used to eat those leaves and put the salt in them. So I play by just walking, looking at the sky, and just allowing nature to nurture me and to make me feel good, healthy, and to be based in its beauty. When I see beauty, a flower, anything, I really feel lifted and my spirit really goes up. So for me, play is that. And then hearing beautiful music. I love to hear beautiful music, and that for me is play. And of course, I play the piano, but I'm not a very good one. So sometimes it's not play because sometimes puro mali. So but if I cannot play the adult way of allowing myself to have space not to do and not to feel that I have to be useful, then I think I probably be looking like I'm 90 years old now because at 80 I'll still really play, and I champion play and childhood because it's a long story, but in my wala nang time. I was one of our professors was very critical, and he was teaching transactional analysis. You transact as a child, as a parent, as an adult, and then he gave us low grades that were not good. And then he told me, "You seem angry." I said, "Wow, oh my God, 6 foot Yale graduate, male, and little old Filipino female without an PhD and had he had a PhD." And I said, something came up to my head, and I said, "Why are you angry?" He said, "I'm angry because," I said, "you're always criticizing my natural child, and that's my favorite part of me." Whoa, I said it. I didn't know. It's the Holy Spirit, something here. And then to make it even better, after 3 weeks, I heard that he was going to therapy because he had to get in touch with his inner child, his playful child. So that was a vindication of my professor.
I just want to add, no, like moms like me who are raising, very young children, when you ask us that question, minsan mapapaisip kami talaga, it's really an intentional effort for moms, young moms, no, to really find time to play. Kasi you get so caught up with
Yeah,
raising your children and you forget
work.
yourself. in the process of it. So that's a very powerful question that you asked me kasi parang nga no, it's just recent that I really find myself playing kasi you get so caught up in raising kids that sometimes you forget, you still need to play. Yeah.
Yes, it's a need. It's a psychological need of every human being to have that space to be, to play, self-directed.
And like what you said, maybe it's the secret to youthfulness, to your youthfulness, Mom.
Yeah, you will not grow old.
Noted,
Playing with your apo.
Yeah. So with that, I really thank you so much for this conversation. Not just amazing experts and professionals, but uh, mothers and parents and people. It's wonderful to have this discussion with you about play. Before we end, kailangan ko lang i-promote yung
Yes, please.
Parenting Academy. Again, this is our 10th year, and the title is Parenting is Nation Building, Best Filipino Parenting Practices Across Generations. And this is on August 31, that's a Saturday, 9 to 11:30 a.m. at the Mind Museum. Sana nandun ka, Teacher Tanya.
Of course,
Hope you can
I'll
go
be
there.
there. I will be there.
Okay. Take a look at our posts na lang in our FB page if you want to know the details, but you can register. How to register and everything is all there. Teacher Tanya, is there something you might want to promote as well? Maybe your website or
Okay.
an event?
Thank you so much for having me. I learned so much. I took down notes while you're talking. So maybe I'll watch the FB Live again. But this is such a wonderful experience to do this with both of you. Just follow me on Instagram, Teacher Tanya Velasco. I have upcoming seminars. Later I have a one-on-one session with a parent who's about to give. So I do a lot of one-on-one sessions, preparing the parents to a world of parenting and many more. I also do a lot of caregiver seminar, mga yaya seminar. And so you need to be aligned with your yaya. Hindi pwedeng ito yung approach mo, tapos si yaya iba, magka-clash talaga kayo. So follow me on Instagram, Teacher Tanya Velasco. And that's it. And I'll see you at the Parenting Academy.
Yeah, see you everyone. And remember, it's across generations. So you can be old and young and in the middle, sandwich generation. So it's a lot of discussion about this and what's happening in the country. Yeah, as a context. Yes.
For all ages. Oh, one last thing before I forget. Aside from if you attend actually the Parenting Academy 10, there are freebies. You can get one free parenting book, and there's also a one online parenting class which will be scheduled.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Anyway, thank you again for this wonderful conversation about play. Hopefully, and I feel it has inspired our viewers, especially the parents, to keep playing and to be infected by their child's playfulness as well. So hopefully this will not be the last conversation that the three of us will have. Okay. But
maybe they can request
topics.
Maybe you can tell us what topics you want.
Or send in your questions to us. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much again.
Okay, thank you. Thanks everybody. Tanya,
bye.
Chris,
thank you, Chris and Dr.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.